So hello my dear friends, welcome back. Welcome to your channel Cooking Astrology. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for subscribing my channel and liking my videos. Thanks a lot. So today in this video, let's try to understand the sign of Scorpio and venoms in Vedic Astrology. So venom is actually a poisonous substance that have the capacity to kill someone. But here, by mean to say venom is not actually snake biting or scorpio biting. I'm referring to the internal seed of negativity which is actually present inside the sign of Scorpio. It may be the jealousy factor towards someone. It may be envy. You are envious of someone, or maybe some other person is having strong jealousy factor. It may be the hatred also. It may be any seed of negativity that is actually present inside you people. Now that strong seed of negativity, first of all, which is cultivating inside you, it's not going to harm other person. Initially this seed of negativity is going to harm you, and that is the sting of Scorpio, or that is actually the sign of Scorpio in Vedic Astrology. There are total 12 houses in Vedic Astrology. In whichever house that the sign of Scorpio is actually posited, that particular area or that particular house is going to create that sting of Scorpio into your life. Like you are going to experience the pain, just like the snake biting or these things. So you are going to experience that deep pain, sorrow from that particular areas of your life. If the sign of Scorpio is falling in the 10th house of your career, it means you are going to experience that sting. That hatred, that jealousy, envy factor is actually going to be coming from that particular area. If the sign of Scorpio is falling in the 2nd house of your family, so family is actually going to be acting as the source of negativity in your chart. Now the sign of Scorpio, if you itself look, is actually the 8th house of Vedic Astrology, and 8th house energy is itself manifested completely in the sign of Scorpio, and that is the energy of transformations. Okay, by mean to say transformations, it may be physical, mental transformations, it may be the change of the belief systems actually, or it may be you are completely transforming into a totally new person after receiving that venom or that sort of negativity. Because when specifically you encounter with all these kind of negative circumstances which are actually present in your life, or it may be the negative circumstances that are not only coming from the outer world, but that is happening inside all of you. So these negative factors or the negative influences that you are actually receiving in your life, these have the capacity to create transformations into the longer duration of the time. Here I'm not actually more concerned about the snake biting here. Okay, that is some different aspect, or the Scorpio bite. Although if that kind of circumstances are happening in your life, because 8th house represents any sudden event, or this is the house which represents suddenly something is happening. So in case of snake biting, Scorpio biting, so these are the sudden events. So the sign of Scorpio actually have the capacity to give you lot of pain. And this is the pain which we call it as a mrityu tulya kasht in Jyotish Shastra. Like just like the death actually, the amount of pain that you are going to experience. So it's a similar kind of circumstances that you are going to experience in your life. Now, many a times the pain, sorrow, these things that are actually happening in your life through the sign of Scorpio specifically, it's actually happening because of the futuristic thinking also, or maybe your unnecessary worries that particularly existed in the future. It's not presently happening actually, because most of the worries, they existed in the future. 80% of the worries which are actually present inside you, it may be the sign of Scorpio is present in your 5th house and you are worried about your children, because 5th house is the house of children. Maybe you are worried about their education, there are more expenses happening, you will not be able to save money. If the sign of Scorpio is in the 11th house, maybe that have to deal with your hopes, wishes and your desires. Maybe in the 3rd house, that have to deal with the siblings part actually. Lot of karma, heavy karmic connectivity present between you and your siblings. Maybe in the 7th house, if the sign of Scorpio is there, so it itself shows because of marriage, because of the partner, because of your husband and wife, you will experience that pain and sorrow. And that is the reason why the sign of Scorpio is actually controlled by Mars, because Mars is one of the most malefic grahas of Jyotish Shastra, and that is the reason malefic planet tend to outperform in the 10th house. The reason why this planet is exalted in the 10th house in the sign of Capricorn, because 10th house is a very ruthless house. It's not a very soft house actually. Nowadays, many of you are working a 9-to-5 job, maybe doing a business, so you understand the amount of power, aggression, agitation, the level of confidence, even that your fighting skills that you require in the 10th house of the career. So that is actually ruled by Mars. But that is also the positive side. Mars on the negative side is also ruling the sign of Scorpio here. And Scorpio, whenever Mars is there, it shows aggression or the anger. Now, if you are dealing with the anger and aggression related issues, it's coming because of Mars. If you are dealing with envy or maybe jealousy factor, it's also coming because of Mars. If there are some unnecessary futuristic worries that existed in the future, like not the present worries, maybe you are thinking about your retirement, like after 10 years, maybe what is going to be happening, or right now you are working in a job, you are thinking after 10-15 years, am I going to be capable enough to have that job security in my life? So these futuristic and unnecessary worries are gained by the sign of Scorpio. But I will tell you one thing here. If these negative influences are actually coming from outside, like suppose there is a very toxic boss. So toxicity is also the poison actually. Toxicity, if it is coming from your top boss in the organization towards you, I understand it become very difficult for a normal person to gain control over the negative thoughts and the vibrations that are coming from other people into your life. It's very difficult for you to gain control over that thing. But I'm talking about if the seed is inside you, you have the capacity to gain control over that seed. It doesn't matter whether other people are giving you negativity, jealousy, hate, these things, okay? So these are the external factors. And you have no power to gain control over the external factors that are happening from the outside world. But when it comes to the internal factor, suppose the seed is present inside you, you are jealous because of that person is promoting in the job, you are jealous because of your sibling earning more money, you are jealous because maybe countable or unaccountable number of reasons. So if you are having any negative trait inside you, this is going to act as a venom, and it's a very slow poison. It represents slow death. Slowly that decay is happening. You see, if you bring some apple and cut that apple into half and just leave it, you see the slowly the decay process is happening. Slowly the apple is dying. That is actually in this way you are also dying if you are having any negative seed present inside you. Many people, like nowadays specifically, it become very difficult for them to let go any heavy feelings towards someone. At the time when I do lot of consultations, it's also very difficult for me as an astrologer to deal with the negativity of most of the time. But because of the spiritual sadhanas, mantra chanting, doing fasting, these activities that really helped me a lot, and I request you to do all that kind of things. But for example, if suppose the negativity or the seed of negativity is inside you, you are jealous because of other person's success, what is happening? This will create a slow process. Initially, you might not be able to recognize the harm which is created by the sting of Scorpio. Initially, you might be thinking, okay, it's a normal for me as a human being to have the greed, lust, anger inside me. Yes, it's completely normal, but these are your internal enemies. If suppose you are jealous because of other people's success, so the seed is negativity is inside you, and this seed will start germinating. Then one day this seed is going to become like a big tree, and when this is going to become a big tree, it become very difficult for you to then let go things easily. And that is where the sign of Scorpio is also giving you pain, because you are attached with the most of the things. Mars is also a planet of desires actually. The reason why you born in this planet Earth, because of the sign of Aries. The sign of Aries is falling in the first house of the Kalpursh Kundli. So Aries is the representation of desire. So it means in the past life you are having some unfinished desires, and because of that desires you have taken this birth. Now in this birth you are going to fulfill that desires. Now that desires are also going to give you pain. That is actually the sense of attachment. When you completely attached with something, suppose you are attached with some relationships, you are attached with your mother, with your father, with your wife, with your spouse, with your siblings. Now when the attachment is getting intensified, it tend to become some sort of obsessions. And that is where you need to take the help of Ketu, because Ketu is also the co-ruler of the sign of Scorpio. So Ketu will eventually help you to understand up to what extent I need to go in the attachment. Ketu is a karka of detachment, pure detachment, where I'm no longer connected with any of these things, any objects, any materialistic things, even with the relationships also. So I'm no longer connected with any of these materialistic or worldly desires also. And that is where you experience the true path of spiritualism inside you. And it's very important in the 21st century which we are living. It's a Kali Yuga. It's not a Dwapar Yuga, or it's not a Sati Yuga actually. It's a very difficult Yuga which we are currently living. It's a very ruthless thing actually. But make sure to protect yourself, not from the external but from the internal enemies. If the hatred, if the envy, if the jealousy, if it is present inside you, I will tell you, immediately stop that seed, throw it. Don't hold any grudges towards someone. Maybe some person have did something wrong towards you, and you are holding a grudge like, okay, let me wait for my good time and I'm going to give punishment to that person. This is a grudge. This is that seed of negativity. This is a slow poison. Now you are not killing that person. Initially you are killing yourself. So it's very, very important for you to understand this concept of the sign of Scorpio. The very best method to deal with all such kind of negative circumstances is first of all having a very positive and optimistic attitude towards life. If you are having that positivity, that optimism in your life, then most of the problem is solved. You also need to be secondly more and more grateful into your life. Offering gratitude for the kind of things which are actually present in your life, then this is going to open the pathway for you to receive more good things into your life. Third important thing, even you need to start blessing your enemies actually. Because when you start blessing your enemies, this is going to create that positive channels into your life. At the same time, you also need to do certain specific mantra sadhanas that might be associated with Lord Shiva, or maybe Lakshmi Narayan, or maybe Lord Krishna. Chanting of mantra will also going to be very, very helpful. Lastly, you also need to do fasting, complete fasting for 24 hours a day. You can pick up the planet that is actually posited in the sign of Scorpio and pick that day. If Moon is in the sign of Scorpio, Monday, Saturn is in the sign of Scorpio, then on Saturday you need to do fasting. So in this way you can apply these remedies also. And I hope you have actually gained some unique perspectives of the sign of Scorpio in this video with me. If you are having any queries, any consultations with regards to your horoscope, any specific remedies you require, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me over my email ID. And I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. If you require any marriage, career, spiritual, business consultation, do let me know. I will try my best to get back to you as soon as possible. Also, I have gained enough insights in this video with me. You can also send me super thanks. Any small contribution from your side will also going to help me to feel more motivated and make more such content over the YouTube. Feel free to subscribe my channel below, hit the like button if you really enjoyed this video, and I'm going to meet you very, very soon in the next video. Till then, bye bye and Hare Krishna.